Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you've been enjoying the weekend. If you're listening to this live when it debuts on Sunday, welcome to the show. This is episode 2228 of the Cabral Concept. You can follow along with all of the questions right at stephencabral.com/2228. I'll be talking about it on this coming Friday review. That'll be let's see, coming up, just about 5 days or so. But I really wanted to just give you a quick thank you, especially if you're listening on the weekend. You know, these weekend house calls, a lot of practitioners listen to it, a lot of people who are interested in kind of being the health coach in their home, which we love. But we've now surpassed 30 million downloads and reaching about 3 million downloads per month, which is just absolutely insane. If you think about it, we started at about 3,000 downloads per month, and now it's at about 3 million. And yes, we've been doing this for a couple of years, but it's really because of you. And I wanted to thank you, especially again, tuning in on the weekends, each and every day to the Cabral Concept. So thank you so much. This really is my favorite thing to do, to be able to teach. I've always just viewed myself as a teacher, just trying to pay forward what I learned many, many years ago from just so many brilliant minds from around the world. So once again, thank you so much. And let's get into now your questions. So I'm opening up the big Ask Cabral document. And the first one looks like it's from Laura today. And Laura says, "Hi, I'm such a huge fan of the podcast, and it really has made a huge impact on my life. I recently," and thank you, Laura, appreciate that. "I recently completed the Dosha test and found out that I'm Vata 55, Pitta 32, and Kapha 13. It took me by surprise because I always thought I'm a Vata Kapha. So considering my constitution, I was wondering if I should follow a tridoshic diet because most Vata foods aggravate my Kapha and I ended up gaining weight. And I also, my Pitta resulting in inflammation. The only issue is I tend to have vitamin and mineral deficiencies, so things like eggs and nuts and seeds help out with that. How can I get the nutrients I need through whole food without aggravating my secondary doshas? Also, I seem to gain more weight on my upper body, arms, waist, back, and chest, not my lower body. I tried resistance training with emphasis on the lower body, but I can never seem to gain any weight there. And when I lose weight, my Pitta shoulders are very clearly broader than my lower body. It is like my upper body is all Pitta and my Kapha is in my lower body is all Vata. I tend to gain more weight in my lower to achieve a little bit more balance. How can I gain more symmetry?" All right, here's the thing. And this is why I can't have people get too concerned about their dosha. Here's the thing. And I've explained this before. And this is so important. It really is that you can't go by an online quiz for your dosha. You just can't do it. And that's because most online quizzes are based on the mental aspect, the physiological aspect, like how your body's acting on the inside, the spiritual aspect, and then the overall health aspect, right? Physical, spiritual, internal workings, which is physiological. So it does not work. It really does not work because what you're asking, just like everybody else is how does it affect my body? And that means the only the quiz that you take, we're trying to develop one. It will be for free. We are developing one, but I want it to really be helpful because here's the thing: people are developing their constitutions, which is not wrong, but they're mixing their mental, physical, emotional, spiritual constitution with their physical. You can't mix the emotional, the spiritual, and I'm wrapping it all around my head right now with the physical. If you want to deal with the physical of the body, you must deal with the physical of the body, right? That's really, really important. So you seem to be, Laura, someone that trends towards Kapha at least. It seems like you gain weight easier. If you gain weight easier, maybe not in the places that you want, like the lower body, maybe it's more upper body, like you said, it's still trending towards Kapha. You came in as a Kapha 13. You can't be a Kapha 13 if you trend more towards weight gain. It does not work from a physical constitution. Now, maybe it took into account your mental constitution and you're usually in good spirits and you're usually more relaxed, right? Like all of that matters. So here's the thing. Just be careful. You can't go by it. You just can't do it. So I have to keep it at that. Please do not go by your Ayurvedic constitution from a quiz that you did online, even though it was well-intentioned. If you're looking to transform your overall body and health, then it has to be based on the physical structure of the human. If I had more time in my life, which sometimes I wish I did, but again, I'm doing what I want to be doing, I would love to write a book on this. It's just my time does not allow for it. Maybe one day it will, but we're going to try to develop more of a physical-based Vata Pitta Kapha Ayurvedic dosha quiz. So stay tuned. Just stay tuned for those Friday reviews. I will certainly detail it when it comes out. All right. Becky's up next. Thank you so much for what you do. It is truly amazing. I just listened to the episode on how your habits form your future, and I loved it. I'm an IHP level 2, Vata, mid-20s. You spoke about the importance of cardio and how it benefits your HRV. I do strength training 4 times a week and 10,000 steps daily. I don't really have any time to add more cardio on top, and I don't want to lose weight. I'm already 90% vegan with occasional wild salmon, so this makes me very prone to catabolism. I take DNS, magnesium, balanced zinc, omega-3s, vitamin D, C, etc. I do, however, track my HRV with my Aura and would love to improve it, currently around 60. So I'm happy to compromise and add cardio if that will improve my HRV. What are your thoughts? Should I perhaps replace my 10,000 steps with some cardio? How long should the cardio be? All right, great questions, Becky. Here's the thing. If your HRV is in your 60s, you're doing fantastic. You really are. So don't ever believe just because you saw someone online that's probably an outlier with the HRV, meaning like it's still true, but they're an outlier, an HRV around 100, right? My HRV is not around 100. My HRV has never been around 100. I could have been 6 years old and I wouldn't have an HRV around 100. Like it doesn't matter. It would never, like genetically, never have an HRV 100. And you know that I don't believe genetic is your destiny. However, there are upper limits. Like I will never be 6 feet tall. It's just not going to happen, right? I'm not going to be 6 feet, 240 pounds and play in the NFL. It's just not happening. Or 6'4", 240 pounds. It's not happening, right? It just like my HRV is never going to be around 100. And that's okay. You can be a healthy individual, live a really long, healthy life, and not have an HRV 100. So if you're happy with an HRV around 60, then everything's good. I mean, 4 times a week strength training, 10,000 steps a day, you don't need to change. Like you're taking good supplements, you're taking good care of yourself, 90% plant-based. I have no problem with you staying exactly where you are. Sometimes you don't need to. But if you do, well, just remember your cardio only needs to be 20 to 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week, and it will be part of your 10,000 steps. So when you would have ordinarily been walking, you could go for a 20-minute run, and you would do that. Like, for example, my strength training is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I would love to do strength training more, but I've pivoted a bit to more of a balanced routine for my body. And I do cardio on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then if I'm in the pool on the weekend with my girls, then I'll do some laps. And that's certainly a little bit of cardio in there as well that I can track with my Aura. Now, the new version, the Gen 3, or with an Apple Watch. So that's that. So basically your 10,000 steps count as part of the cardio. All right. And again, 20, 30 minutes, 2-3 times a week. And that's if you choose to. And then you can see maybe, hey, do it for 6 weeks. See if it raises your HRV, which it should. It's one of the number one things. And you can give that a shot. But again, brisk walking could be great too. All right, Lisa's up next. Dr. Cabral, thank you for answering my question. My partner is in his early 40s, healthy, but doesn't exercise much. The past couple of years, he started having quite bad anxiety. When the anxiety attacks happen, it takes over his whole body and he can't sleep. This will usually last 1 to 2 days. The following 2 days, the anxiety goes away. He feels extremely tired, nauseous, hyperactive, hiccups a lot, generally has unsettled stomach, disturbed sleep. He started seeing a therapist and has seen some progress. However, is there anything else we could do to support his body better from a nutritional medical standpoint? We tried magnesium for better sleep, but he gets upset stomach, even the smallest dose. We tried Adrenal Soothe. It didn't seem to work either in terms of keeping him calm, although he didn't take it regularly. Really appreciate your advice, Lisa. Okay. So, yeah, it seems like everything, this is the rain barrel effect, right? It seems like everything starts to build up and then it overflows. The anxiety is too much. It lasts for 1 to 2 days. He does things or she does things, I don't know if this is a male or female, to calm things down, empty that rain barrel a bit, and then it starts to subside. And then you're left with the nausea, the extreme tired, the hiccups, and that's because the body was worn out. It's worn out, right? It's literally worn out. Hiccups, not caused by diaphragmatic irregularity, can be from different levels of metabolic alkalosis and metabolic acidosis, but we won't get into that today. But that can also change because of stress, and that has to do with kidneys. And so anyway, we won't get into that today. But there's so many, again, you can't say that you tried magnesium and got an upset stomach. Okay. Did you try full spectrum magnesium? Because that's buffered. It works really well. Or did you just use magnesium oxide? Or did you just use calming magnesium, which is buffered with a bicarbonate, right? So you have to try different ones. So there's magnesium, full spectrum magnesium, and then there's calming magnesium. They're both great. I would try different ones, and don't take it with food, right? Magnesium is better on its own. You can take full spectrum magnesium with food, but if you're taking calming magnesium powder, you're supposed to take that about a half hour or so before bed. Hopefully that's a couple hours after you ate. Adrenal Soothe, well, you have to eat, again, you have to give it a little time to work. So these things are not medications. Nutritional supplements are not medications. You take them for 2, 3, 4 weeks, get them in your system, and then they're also meant to be used in conjunction with healthy lifestyle, meditation, binaural beats. And you asked about exercise, and exercise doesn't need to be every day. 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, pick a weekend day, or just start getting in 10,000 steps per day, right? Have this person read the de-stress protocol. Very simple things to start doing that can make a huge difference in their life. All right. Thank you, Lisa. You're a good partner. Terry's up next. I recently started your 21-day detox. My question is, I also take Nexium for acid reflux. What is your advice for weaning off of this over-the-counter medication to start? Okay, so I cannot give medical advice. I forgot to give that disclaimer. No medical advice, no medical treatments, no medical cures, no medical diagnosis, right? Those are the 4 that we have to state, and so we've now stated them. So whenever you're looking to wean off a medication, you work with your medical doctor. What I can tell you is this: go to stephencabral.com/podcast, type in acid reflux. All right. Acid reflux, or type in GERD, right? Type in one of those, listen to my previous responses on what to do. Because acid reflux could be multiple things. Too little stomach acid, believe it or not. That's in a lot of the cases, hypochlorhydria, because it affects what's called the lower esophageal sphincter, the LES. You can look that one up too on the podcast. Next, you want to look at weak digestion, food staying in your stomach too long. You want to look at H. pylori. You want to look at hiatal hernia. All of these things I have in my podcast. And if you really want to get to the bottom of it, go to stephencabral.com/courses and take the digestion course. It's 4.5 hours, and it will answer all of your questions on everything to do with your digestion. Acid reflux, constipation, loose stool, parasites, H. pylori, yeast overgrowth, bacterial overgrowth, you name it. If it has to do with your digestion, it's covered in that course. And then, of course, if you want to really get to the bottom of it, you can run the 3 gut labs, and those are at stephencabral.com/labs, and they're a bundle. And you run the bacteria and parasite stool test, the Candida metabolic and vitamins test, and the IgG food sensitivity, and that will get to the bottom of it as well. So you can do the 21-day detox while on your medication. I'm not saying you can't, and then you'll wean off of it as you get to the root cause of why it's there in the first place. So Terry, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Hopefully that was helpful. All right, let's see. Let's get in one more question today from Amy. Amy says, I'm an IHP level 2, and I'm a little bit confused when it comes to tackling fasting with hyperthyroid clients. If someone is overweight but has low thyroid, should they do the 2 days of fasting in the detox? I would assume yes, but then isn't fasting detrimental for the thyroid? What about long term? They are obviously working on their thyroid, but should they do a 14 to 16 hour fast overnight? And should they work out before or after breakfast? The answer would be yes to some on a weight loss plan, but I think the answer would be no if someone was low thyroid. Please help with those questions. Thank you so much. All right, Amy, thank you for, again, being a part of the community as well. All of these are answered completely for free on the Intermittent Fasting podcast. Please go to stephencabral.com/podcasts. Whether you're on mobile or desktop, scroll through the images until you find the one that says intermittent fasting. I detail all of it because there's no way I could answer this right for like one individual. I talk about how the thyroid is affected by the adrenals. I talk about who should skip breakfast, who shouldn't. I talk about low thyroid in it. I talk about how long to fast because if someone has a low thyroid, they might have cortisol issues. They might have digestive issues. So you want to think about this holistically. And so if we're talking about low thyroid, what are we really talking about? Are we talking about symptoms of low thyroid, or are we talking about actually low thyroid, meaning like TSH above, let's say, a 2.5 or 3? That's important. And we're also talking about a 2-day fast during the 7-day detox, or if they're doing a 21-day, please again listen to all of the instructions on that. You can take the detox course at stephencabral.com/courses. That one is free. And you'll see that on the week 2 and week 3 of the functional medicine detox, they may not do those fasting days at all. So then we have to decide, well, are the 2 fasting days in the beginning worth it? And they are for many people, especially if they need to lose weight and there's thyroid issues. Because remember, we're not doing this long term. We're doing it just for 2 days. So there's a lot of questions to go through. I explain those in depth, and part of your IHP2 education is going through that material, really becoming the best for yourself, for your family, and also for your clients as well. So yeah, that is that. And then again, intermittent fasting, I talk about that. It's not necessarily detrimental for the thyroid, 14 to 16 hours. It is though if you skip breakfast, right? So how do you get to 14 hours? Well, you just work backwards more in the night, meaning that it's more detrimental to skip the breakfast than it is to work back in the night. So if you stop eating at 5 o'clock at night and you don't start until 8 in the morning, well, that's 13 hours, right? I think 5, that's 7 to 8 is 15 hours. So you get 15 hours right there, right? Or if you stop at 6 at night and you eat till 8 in the morning, that's 14 hours. So you can see that that would be acceptable for most people with thyroid issues. But going from 8 at night to 10 in the morning, right, or noon would be 14 to 16 hours, and that's more detrimental, especially if they start their day with more stress, because thyroid hormone kicks up, cortisol kicks up naturally with the cortisol awakening response. So all of this needs to be taken into consideration. I teach this in depth inside of the detox course. I teach it in depth on the fasting podcast as well. And again, all of those are free. All right. Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you to everybody who tuned into today's show. Like I said, I appreciate you. I truly mean that. I love that I get to do what I do, and it is all thanks to you. So thank you so much for your support, for your downloads, and for your reviews on iTunes and your favorite podcast player. If you haven't left a review yet, I would really appreciate that. So thank you so much. Take care. I'll be back tomorrow with our Mindset and Motivation Monday.